Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi, welcome to Mila Sikumbang. Today, I would like to share you about 5 best vocabulary games. This is really nice to do games with your um, son or daughter or with your students in kindergarten, primary, or also elementary. Okay, let's go. For the first one is Last Man Standing. This game is fast-paced but allows students some time to think. It also encourages peer learning, as students will pick up on words they hear others speaking. So they would like to pay attention what their friends say. To play the game, grab a ball and have all the students form a circle. You have to ask your student to make a circle. It will be 6 or 7. Name, category, or theme, such as things found in a kitchen, food, professions, and so on. For the example, you might start with something red, and then the first student say they have to catch the ball first, and then say strawberry. Then choose another topic and throw the ball to the next student. So the first student will give like descriptions of one thing or description or about someone, and then they will throw the ball and the next student have to answer the question. Okay, this is about the activity. I summarize that the vocabulary activity resources required. You have to get a soft ball or your choice of plush toy. When to use anytime, but works well as a starter or plenary. You can also use it to assess prior knowledge. Practice vocabulary during a topic as well as at the end as a revisions activity. So you have to give the revisions. Okay. Next, instructions how to play the game. First, put students in a cycle and name a topic that I have given to you before. For the example, like jobs, school, adjectives, and etc. Number 2, immediately say a student's name. You call their name, just only one, and throw the ball at them. They will answer what's your questions after they catch the ball. 3, if correct, they continue standing. If incorrect, they must sit down for the remainder, nothing down next words mentioned. Number 4, students continue throwing to each other and answering until there is the last man standing. So the last man standing is the winner. Okay, so it is really simple. Next, number 2 is Pictionary. Here are the picture about the Pictionary. To play in a classroom with many students, it's not very practical to use the game board. This means you'll be using the chalkboard or whiteboard at the front of the room. If you don't have this Pictionary like this, you can use whiteboard. Okay. Now, Pictionary is a game of charades where players draw words instead of acting them out. How to play that? You split the group into teams. You have 1 or 2 teams. Each round, assign one team member to draw. Give the drawing team member a word. Allow up to 60 seconds for teammates to guess. So you give the durations to think that just only 60 seconds to give the answer. If the team guesses correctly, then assign 1 point. Okay, you give the point, you give like the column of the point, and then you can give other teams the opportunity to steal the point or move into the next team's turn. The game is a great way to practice new vocabulary. Okay, as a players, connect the words with an image. So don't say anything, just draw. Don't give like the tricky Okay, and it is really fair games. Okay, it's really fun games for me. I have given this game to my students. Yeah, kindergarten class. Next, number three, 20 objects. Here are, for the example, I give some objects, and then you can take them on the tables on the teacher's desk. Okay, uh, so you can test your students to memorize it and know about the names of these objects. And then you have you have bring this object, okay, in front of the class. You can say the names of the object or not, up to you. It depends on the English level, what your students have. Okay, yeah. Okay, this is time how to this is the way how to play the game. Arrange the objects on the desk and let students gather around to look at them. Cover everything with a sheet or something similar after 1 minute and send everyone back to their seats. Each student should write out as many items as they can remember on a piece of paper, all in English. So your students see around the 20 things, and then they have to remember that, and then they can go back and sit down in their seat, and then they write them in the piece of paper. Okay, you can do this individually or the group, up to you, up to the teachers. Okay, when everyone is done, write a list of the items on the chalkboard and allow students to self-correct. Alternatively, you can call out the objects and give point for each one that is correctly written. So you have to give 1 point. So if they can make like 20 objects and then it is really correct, they can get 20 point. Okay, now number 4, word search. So this one, your students should find the word. It can be start from the left to the right, or up or down, or from down to up. Okay, this game is commonly, okay, this activity work well for handouts, and you can play it during video call or whiteboard feeder and enabling annotations. We made a simple word, you can use like this. I made it like this. Okay, vocabulary word search. You can find these games, you can find the material on Google. Yeah, it can help you, and the student can know about this, and it's really interesting and fun games. Okay, yeah, here in the right you can find the answer, diaper, swagger, minder, and then your students should find this word. Okay, to make the game more competitive and exciting, you can turn the challenge into a race and award prizes to first players to complete the puzzles. Okay, you give the time, and then you give the presents to the students who win. Okay, now number 5, 20 questions. Start by secretly thinking of a person. You think about the person like police, like teacher, and then animal or object, and other players should ask up to 20 yes or no questions, like, do you go to school? Yes or no. So yes or no questions and yes or no answer, right? And remember that the answer is yes or no. If the players can guess correctly before reaching 20, so they will win. Okay, if not, if you not do that, you can lose. Okay, so you have to guess before reaching 20. Okay, here are the questions. You can find, I give you like the example of the questions, yes no questions. So it comes from a helping verb like do, does, or is, am, are, like that, or was, or were, have you, or has she. Okay, number 1 until number 20. If you can guess after the number 7 questions, you can guess it. Okay, so you can say the answer. Okay, so you can get point. So I think that's all 5 best vocabulary games. And I hope it's really useful for you, and especially for the teacher. And see you for the next video. On the next video, goodbye. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.